We're live.
Welcome to the Lost Together podcast, and Happy New Year. This is still my attempt to convince Morgan that Lost is one of the greatest television shows ever written, created, produced, shot on an island, and then taking a season and a half to round out to what a storyline actually is for a character.
Oh my God.
So that happened, and in this episode, which is episode 9 of season 2, or the 34th episode overall, What Kate Did. It originally aired on November 30th, 2005. And so we finally get a little bit of resolution. Mm-hmm. So you get to know what Kate did. Mm-hmm. I wonder if when this episode came out, if people saw the title, because you know how
and we're like, thank God.
Yeah, well, I wonder if in 2005, because I'm trying to remember back, was that still in like TV Guide days where there was like a scrolling TV Guide channel?
For sure.
Okay. Yeah, I think it might have been slightly more advanced than that because there were internet articles and stuff. I can find internet articles from 2005. So, yeah, maybe where you can scroll through.
But it was still the guide.
My point is when people saw the title, What Kate Did, they go, thank God. Like, finally, we're going to get to know what Kate did.
Yeah.
So, before you recap, yes or no, does what Kate did change how you feel about
really.
Kate? Exactly.
No.
That's what I thought.
Not really at all. I still think she's dramatic as shit. Like,
yeah. I wonder, too, Greg had mentioned, and we'll get to it more specifically, but I really want to say this straight off. He was saying that he kind of agrees with me that the bad writing for Kate really kind of pigeonholed her. And I halfway wonder if the reason that the resolution to this story is in the middle of season 2 is because they didn't know what Kate did when they originally wrote it. And they were like, guys, we got to come up with something.
Yeah,
like,
better figure this out.
What can we do? Because everybody hates her. So what can we do to make people like her? Well, what if she killed somebody, but for a really good reason? Yeah. So.
Yeah. I thought it was, let's recap and then I'll talk about how I feel. So Kate, the episode opens with Kate sitting outside a very small, you can tell low income, southern looking house. Are they southern? Where are they from?
Iowa.
Okay.
What's the t-shirt?
Pretty much.
Well, so what's the t-shirt? Because you called it out. I think it was Janis Joplin.
It was a Janis Joplin shirt. Very cool shirt.
Yeah. And, it's in Iowa. But I think we've said this in a different episode, actually. But there are hillbillies everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can be in Iowa. You can be in New York, right? There are hillbillies everywhere.
Yes.
They just don't have the same accent as us.
Yes.
So they're hillbillies.
Yes. So, excuse me, we stayed up really late last night. So.
Till midnight, in fact.
I was up till 1.
I was asleep by 12:10.
You were asleep before that. I think you were asleep before your head hit the pillow.
We have that common problem in marriages where one of us is an excellent, like I can go to sleep with zero effort, and Morgan takes it's like whenever you're playing Zelda, if you've ever played that and you got to find like the map and the compass and everything inside the temple and the weapon before you can fight the boss. That's what Morgan's like for sleep. You got to there's all these steps you have to take to get ready to go to sleep. Not me, baby.
Yeah.
Horizontal.
I gotta lay down and think about everything I said throughout the day and figure out whether it was stupid or not.
And you always think that it is.
Every time.
Yep.
I gotta think about what I would have said if a made-up fight happened and how I would win that fight.
But not a fight that actually happened.
No, a completely made-up fight.
Got it.
Yeah. What I would do if this situation were to come up. Things like that. Normal.
How often do the people that you have the imaginary fights with apologize and tell you how right you were?
Never.
In the imaginary.
Never.
You can imagine it and you don't make them do that?
No.
In my imaginary arguments, they are telling me at the end, they're like, I wish I had seen it your way from the beginning. Because I really now I see the light and you're right and also handsome. So
I love you. So, anyway, Kate is sitting outside this place. Car pulls up. A very drunk man gets out of the car. And he's like, what are you doing here? And she's like, let's get you inside. Takes him in. He makes a super gross pass at her while she's like taking his shoes off. When they walk in the house, he says, what's that smell? And she's like, it's probably your breath. Classic. So he lays him down, takes his shoes off, and he's like, you really are beautiful. You know. Then she walks out, gets on her little motorcycle. I was like, of course, Kate drives a motorcycle. Of course she does. With no helmet, dumbass. So she drives off, and the house explodes. So Kate killed her stepdad, Wayne, because he's a dick, and he beats her mama. So she goes...
And he's a pervert.
Yes, and he's a perv.
Yeah.
So she goes to... Because didn't she later say that he's been around since she was like 8 or 5 or something like that?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, like the entirety of her life. So she goes to the diner that her mom works at, and she's like, hey, Mom, listen, I took out an insurance policy on Wayne in your name, okay? Don't go back to the house, and you're not going to see me for a long time, love you. And then her mom's like, what'd you do? Kate, Catherine, what'd you do? Kate runs away. Then she goes to see her dad, and he's like somebody really important in the military.
Well, he's at a recruiting office.
Oh.
Yeah.
But he had a lot of badges.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good eye.
So he's like somebody. So she walks in and she's like, hey, Daddy. And he's like, hey. Oh, no, wait, no. Sorry, I skipped ahead. She is at the bank or something, and the freaking air marshal walks up.
No, she's trying to buy a ticket to
Is that what it
Tallahassee.
is? Okay, I didn't know where the hell she was at. So air marshal walks up and he's like, gotcha, Kate. You're under arrest for murder. And, they get in a little tussle. He gets her in the car. They're driving. And he's like asking her questions, but she's not really answering anything. And then a huge black horse walks out in the middle of the road, and they run off the road. And that's the second car crash that the marshal's been in with Kate. Because remember the truck?
Yeah.
Yeah. He should stop driving with her.
Well,
and then he was in a damn plane crash when he was on the plane with her.
In fairness, in the other car crash, she was not in the car with him.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They don't need to be in moving vehicles of any kind.
Or
together.
or as a marshal, he needs to be better at chasing hillbillies. Like, why is he such a bad marshal?
I don't know.
Like, I mean, Kate is half his size.
Yeah.
Right? Why is she not, handcuffed in such a way that she can't get out?
Well, I don't know. But anyway, they wreck the car. He's unconscious again. And this time, she does not save his ass. She gets the keys, unlocks herself, and leaves. And then she goes to see her dad. Mm-hmm. And she's like, oh, and...
takes his car.
Yeah, the marshal says, oh, by the way, your mom turned you in. And Kate's like, cool. So, yeah, she kicks him out, takes the car, drives to her dad. She's like, hey, Daddy, why didn't you tell me Wayne's my dad? And I was like, oh, she killed her dad. But she didn't know. She didn't know that was her dad, and she hated him, so...
Yeah, and makes the pass 5 million times worse at the beginning of the... I mean, it's bad. It's next level to begin with.
Yeah, it's disgusting, but then, like, your own baby?
Ugh. Yeah.
Nasty. So then her dad.
So new worst dad on the show. Because we previously were thinking it was John Locke's dad, right? Because we've got the gold medal for worst mom, but Kate's dad.
Yeah, I don't know. Because she says that he never actually touched her, so he's just like being gross. John Locke's dad actually got a body part from him, an organ.
But he didn't know John Locke his whole life. No. Kate's dad knew her whole life, saw her as a child, and still made a pass at her while he was drunk.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
Name a worse dad from the show than Wayne.
John Locke's dad.
I don't think so.
I don't know. Anyway, so they're like, hello. She's like, hello, why didn't you tell me? And he says, well, I was afraid you would kill him. Guess what, Daddy? You meet destiny on the roads you take to avoid them. Because Kate did, in fact, kill him.
Kung Fu Panda.
Yeah, and she didn't know. So, also, I'm looking over my notes here. Saeed's arrest is happening in the background at the office that her dad works at.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Interesting.
Yeah, more like finely written character intertwined.
Well, Kate's dad is military, and so is Saeed.
Well, yeah, but like it was on the news.
Oh, I thought you said it was in the background. I just thought
on the TV.
Oh, I just thought I missed something.
No, it was on the TV.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's like, Kate, I'm gonna have to like call the cops, and Kate goes, "Can you give me a 1 hour head start?" And he's like, "Yeah." So then she goes, "Love you, Daddy," and leaves. So back on the island, Sawyer has already said he loves Kate. In his fever, he said, "I love her." So, Jack has this information in his brain. He's hanging out with Sawyer. Kate shows up, and Jack shows up and tells Kate, like, "Hey, you know what? You should like go get a break." She's like, "What if he wakes up?" And he's like, "Go get some fruit, and you can feed him and make him feel better." So she's out getting fruit, and then she sees a huge black horse in the jungle. And she's like, "Oh, I'm losing my freaking mind." So she goes back, and she told Jack he should go to the funeral, to Shannon's funeral. And so she's like, "Yeah, I'll hang out with Sawyer and I'll feed him and stuff." Sawyer like half wakes up out of his fever stupor and grabs her by the neck, and it was actually a pretty convincing choke out, I think.
Yep.
And he's like, "You killed me.
Why'd you try to kill me?
Why'd you kill me? No, he didn't say why'd you try. He said, "You killed me. Why'd you kill me?" So then next thing you know, Saeed gives this super touching, like, emotional eulogy for Shannon, and it's just so broken because he's so broken, bless his heart. And he's digging that hole with the world's worst shovel. It's like a hollowed out log. It's awful. I bet that took forever, digging in sand like that. Bless him. So they bury Shannon, and then next thing you know, the freaking alarm's going off. There's like 20 seconds left before the timer goes to 0. Everybody's like, "Where the fuck is Kate?" Sawyer's in the floor. And then Locke runs in, puts in the code, and Jack is like, "What the fuck?" So he goes out to find Kate, and she's just like sitting. She's sitting, I can't remember where she is, but he's like, "What the hell are you doing?" And she's like, "I think I'm losing my mind." And then they have a really hot makeout sesh. And then she runs away. So,
yeah,
no mixed signals there. And, I thought it was poor Jack. But that's really hard for him. Knowing, because obviously he loves Kate. And then he knows Sawyer loves Kate. And Kate doesn't love anybody but her damn self. Actually, she doesn't love herself, but...
No.
But anyway, so, let's see. Michael asks Locke if he can check out the computer. And Locke's like, "Yeah, just don't break anything." So, he's, looking around. And then Mr. Echo and Locke sit down at a table. And Mr. Echo, I think he might be one of my favorite characters. I love him, and I love the way that Nigerian people speak. And so when he told this story, and I loved to hear him tell that story, even though he didn't use any fun Nigerian phrases like My enemies are succeeding or whatever.
We watch these two Nigerian guys on TikTok who talk about that their like relatives and stuff are super dramatic, and so instead of just saying, you know, I'm having a bad day, they'll say my enemies are succeeding.
So poetic.
Which is fantastic.
Yeah.
Right? That's way better than I'm having a bad day. My enemies are succeeding.
Yeah. Or like I'm fast, but my enemies are faster, or something like that. Like
knowledge is trying to catch you, but you're too fast.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so good.
That was next level.
Yes. So Mr. Echo tells this story about Josiah. It's from the Bible.
Yep.
And he tells, you know, I can't remember the whole
He's
story.
King of Judah.
Yeah, basically like Josiah ends up rebuilding the temple with a book. Mm-hmm. And then Mr. Echo has this little parcel in front of him, and he goes, I think what I have will be of great value to you. And then Locke gives his signature, like, eyebrow thing. And Echo pushes it to him. Locke opens it. It's a Bible. He opens the Bible, and it's hollowed out, which I think is not illegal.
No, it's not illegal.
You're not supposed to desecrate Bibles.
No, it's a blaspheme.
That's it. I knew there was I was like, oh, they got the Bible. But cut a big hole in it, and there's film in there. Because they've all already talked about how the film that they've all seen has got like an obvious splice in it, so there's like a section missing.
Which John Locke wanted this piece of film worse than Jack wanted to make out with Kate. So it was,
yeah. So he's
definitely.
Like, what? So they go get the film, they put it back together,
they
go watch it, Locke and Echo. And basically the missing part of the film is like...
Michael too, right? Didn't Michael watch it?
No, Michael is still messing with the computer.
Around.
Yeah, he's checking out the hardware. So Echo and Locke are watching this film, and the film guy says, like, do not use this computer for anything other than putting in the code. Otherwise, we're going to have another incident. No exposition there, no, like, further explanation of what the incident was or anything like that. And then he goes on to say, like, you're going to be lonely down here. Do not engage with anybody on the computer. Don't use it for any kind of communication. Don't fall into the trap of, like, your loneliness and your isolation here. And then it like clicks back into the film that we've all seen.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the thing. So back to Kate, she genuinely believes that Wayne has possessed Sawyer's body, because she goes back to the hatch after Sawyer's been put back in the bed.
Have we mentioned that she saw a horse yet?
Yeah, she saw the horse out in the jungle. Did I not say that? Yeah, she's up in the tree, and she's like, I'm losing my mind.
The mangoes, yeah.
Yeah. So, anyway, he's laying back in the bed, and she walks up, and she's like, Sawyer? And he doesn't move. And then she goes, Wayne? And he goes, so, that's all the confirmation she needs, I guess, that's friggin'
that's my dad.
Wayne.
He made noises whenever I talked to him.
Yeah. So she, like, basically tells Wayne what she has always wanted to tell him, which is, like, you're disgusting, I hate you, you're the reason I'll never be good, you're the reason I have no goodness in me, you ruined my life, whatever. And then Sawyer goes like, that's about the sweetest thing I've ever heard. Bing! He's awake. Yay! Sawyer's better! The strep medicine fixed his sepsis.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing. It's incredible. So, she takes him outside to get some fresh air. Lo and behold, there stands the horse. And we both laughed. They walk out, and Kate goes, do you see that? And Sawyer says, oh, what, the big-ass horse in the jungle? So she walks up and pets its face and kisses it, and it walks off. And thus, I guess, she has processed all that shit that happened with Wayne. Mm-hmm. And hopefully she will not be as insufferable moving forward.
Right.
That's my goal. That's my hope. So back inside, the big cliffhanger of this episode, Michael's,
Do we mention the blast door yet? That's important.
Oh, no. Nope, completely forgot about that.
Okay.
So while Michael is, like, investigating the room, he asks Locke, he's, like, looking in the door frame, and he goes, what's up with these blast doors? And Locke's like, what? And he goes, oh, yeah, it's like, in case there's an explosion, these come down and seal the room off. And Locke's like,
I love that Michael, like, we forget that he was in construction, so he would have seen a lot of stuff, especially where he was working, which is presumably, I think it was New York City, right?
Yes.
LA.
It was some big city.
Is it LA or New York?
LA? I don't know.
But either way, he was in construction, and so it's so great how the writers use him sometimes for that.
To point stuff out.
By the way, is a good, I think, split between, we've talked about this in older episodes, but I hate when characters do too much exposition. Morgan really loves it for some reason. And
because it helps me make sure I don't miss
But
anything.
it's a good split because they've established Michael's in construction, so it makes sense that he would notice things about a building, so he can explain to the viewer, and by talking to Locke,
what the blast doors do.
Check it out, blast doors, here's what they do, right? And that's like something for you to know, but he's not like turning to the camera and going, I worked in construction and I used to see blast doors, and this is what blast doors do, and here's why they do it.
Yeah.
Okay, see you later, right? Which is like a Tyler Perry movie or something. And so you just, it's a really great piece of writing that I remember watching it the other night and thinking, I've got to remember to bring this up, that like, this is exposition that's not like my kind of exposition where I want it to be way below the surface and just hinted. And it's not.
You want to have to watch a movie 3 times to go like,
I get it the first time. So.
Forgot I was dealing with a genius.
Well, and you like it where you are just staring, literally, like the character's just looking at you.
No,
and
I don't.
And going like, this is what happened, right? And also, he was dead the whole time, right? I see dead people. Yeah, because I'm dead. I've been dead the whole time.
You didn't like that? You didn't think that was good?
I mean, look, The Sixth Sense did it well. I mean, but I made it. That thing I just did there was like a fake Sixth Sense.
I was going to say, don't talk shit.
I was doing a bit.
Okay, cool. So anyway, Michael is just about to walk out of the computer room. I guess he's like satisfied his curiosity about the hardware. And it flashes. Oh, and Locke shows Michael. I forgot. Before Locke walks out, Michael's like, what does the computer do? And he's like, nothing. Like, you can literally only put in the numbers when the timer hits a certain thing. Because Locke's like clicking around, nothing's happening. But when Michael is about to walk out, a little word comes up, hello. And he looks for a second and he's like, so he walks up and he types, hello. And then he says, who is this? And he says, Michael, who is this? And then it says, Dad? ? And then it's Michael going,
bum, bum, bum.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bum, bum. Yeah, that's it.
All right.
That was
Good
good.
recap.
It was a good episode.
I thought it was good.
Yeah.
I essentially just had 2 really things I wanted to talk about here. One is kind of speculative and to try to get the kind of juices flowing here, because we're getting ready, as I told Morgan, in a couple episodes, we're getting ready to kick off my favorite portion of the entire series, beginning in episode 14. One of them is the title. And then it goes from there till the end of season 3, which is, I think, the best run.
Yeah, he told me today, he was like, season 3 is electric. It's electric.
It is.
So I'm excited to get there.
Yeah, we are. And just as a production note for y'all, probably what we will do then is kind of return. We'll keep doing the video format, but we'll return to our old format of like watching an episode, recording our reaction, and then going back and recording messages in a bottle later instead of doing it all in kind of one go, because we will end up binging a little bit. So we'll have to be able to watch and react or whatever. So, and it's that'll just make it easier. So just a production note. But to get the juices flowing a little bit, so Mr. Echo's got the Bible. He's got the piece of film in it. And the station that they were in is on the other side of the island.
Yes.
The Arrow.
Yes.
Right? And then the Swan is where our people are at.
Yes.
Okay. Why?
I have no idea.
Well,
they're like, I keep trying to figure out, because in the video the guy says namaste, which is Buddhist.
I think it's Japanese.
No, namaste. That's a religious thing. I think it's Buddhism.
Yes, honey, I know, but.
And then dharma seems like a Buddhist word. I don't know what that.
Okay, namaste is Sanskrit.
Ha salam salam.
Don't do that.
That's what Katya does, isn't it?
Yeah, but Katya is actually speaking Sanskrit.
Oh,
you're just making noise.
I am reiterating what I've heard. But dharma seems like that kind of. What does dharma stand for? Do we know? Have you ever Googled it? You have.
I'm not gonna answer that.
Do I have to do it?
Don't do it.
Okay, fine. I don't know. The Swan and the Arrow, I don't know what they...
Okay, so what was on the cutout portion in the video?
The guy telling him don't mess with the computer.
So why would it be cut out? Why would somebody know what's in that video?
Hoping that somebody will mess up and do what the video says not to do.
Why would somebody want them to not follow the directions in the video?
Because rules are made to be broken.
That's
I don't know. Maybe they're. I mean,
babe, what happens at the end of this episode?
Well, ostensibly, Walt is on the other end of it.
Yeah.
There are people on the island.
Mm-hmm.
So, you think they cut the portion of the film out because they wanted to talk? What a freaking huge step that was. Like, why not be evil or whatever? Not kidnap people and then just go like, hey, we've got a computer on the other side of the island. If you guys want an instant message.
Why do you think they are kidnapping people?
I don't know.
Do you... So...
Well, that guy that Ana Lucia killed, he said it was because Ana Lucia did it again. He said that they didn't take the people that were left because they weren't good people. So they took the good people, the kids and stuff.
This part of this episode stood out to me whenever I first watched it, because I was thinking, why leave the rest of the video, which explains that you have to enter the code every such and such minutes, but not the part where people are instant messaging you.
They're obviously wanting to instant message.
But not only that, but they want them to press the button.
Yes.
Otherwise, they'd just take the whole damn video out. Right?
But then nobody would know what to do with the computer at all. So,
Yeah,
like obviously they want to instant message with each other. Get on what was the AOL instant message? It was like a door opening when you went online.
But do they want them to be pressing the button to keep them busy pressing a button? Or do they want to keep them pressing the button because something bad will happen if they don't press the button?
It's obvious that it has to be something bad.
Does it?
Yeah, I don't think it's a social experiment anymore. If there's people on the other side of the island, Walt on the other side of the island, because Walt will just tell his daddy, like, hey, the button's BS, come get me.
If he knows anything about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'd have to know something about it. Why would they tell him about that?
I don't know. Why are these others such freaks?
Are they freaks?
I mean, they're kidnapping people.
Why?
And they don't have shoes and stuff.
Well, is that so weird if you...
have been on the island for a really long time?
Well, is it weird if you are, for example... you ever heard of the Sentinel Island people?
Yeah, that's the people that have never been modernized at all.
Well, as
never
far
had
as they're
any
concerned,
contact.
if you show up at their island, you're trying to kill them or something, right?
Yeah.
It's all a matter of perspective, But just like everything in Lost, don't assume the motives of the others.
That's literally what I'm supposed to do.
No, you're supposed to try to deduce it, not assume it. Like,
I don't know what they're doing or
But-
why they're doing it.
well, you said, why are they such freaks? How do you know they're freaks? Because you thought...
Why are
you
they
thought,
being so mysterious? Why?
Why was John Locke being so mysterious? First day.
Because he was paralyzed right before the plane crash.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then he wasn't.
Yeah.
So...
I think it's weird that he didn't say anything. Personally, I don't know why he wasn't like, hey guys.
I'm just trying to point your attention to a pattern here, which is that...
Nobody's telling the friggin' truth.
No, you, as the viewer, have watched Lost, formed an opinion about somebody, and how often has it been right?
Never. It's never right.
Right.
I'm not right.
So, with the others...
They're gonna be so good.
Or...
They're gonna be like a religious cult that are wonderful people, like some beautiful commune out there.
Maybe not. I'm just saying. I'm trying to get the juices flowing a little bit here, because, you know...
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the swan and the arrow are for. I don't know what Dharma means, but I know that Namaste is like a yoga thing. It's very peace and love, you know.
Yeah, it's Sanskrit.
Yeah.
I don't know what it means. So the other thing I wanted to ask about was transference, which didn't come up in your recap. So
Oh yeah.
Jack and Hurley.
Yeah.
Jack
Hurley said that it was something that happened in the nut house he was in.
I don't think he calls it the nut house.
Yes, he did.
I think doesn't he call it a mental health facility?
I swear I think he said nut house.
Well, either way, he catches Jack cutting up wood.
Yeah, because Sawyer used to cut up the wood.
Now, I looked at, I thought that was interesting, right? So that's the most, we talked about it right after the episode while we're sitting here on the couch. That's the most interesting part of the episode to me, transference. Because, so what did we discuss after? So why would they the writers bother having Hurley bring up the concept of transference?
Because it's obvious, it's like the gun on the wall. Like it's going to be a theme.
Well, first of all, not only does Kate believe that her dead dad has transferred his spirit into Sawyer's body,
yeah.
right? But transference is the psychological process of transferring feelings that you had for somebody in your past onto somebody in your presence. So
it's like projection?
Kind of, but it's like, projection is like pretending that the person that you're talking to feels how you feel. So that's like, projection is like if you are cheating on your spouse and you're accusing them of cheating. So like everything you see them doing, you're like, oh, you're cheating because you keep looking at your phone. You're cheating because you lay your phone face down or whatever. Like, but you only know that because you are.
Right.
And you're projecting.
Yes.
Right? So transference is like when you're a kid and your mom tells you over and over, like, I don't have time to listen to you right now. I don't have time to listen to you right now. And then you go to your therapist and you're going, every other week, and you go, or to yourself, you're like, man, I think I'd really benefit from going every week, but I think my therapist thinks I'm needy. But you've got no reason to think that. It's just that you're transferring how a previous
you were made
authority
to feel to how you currently feel.
Yeah, well, you think that your therapist feels like how your mom felt.
Yeah.
Even though you got no reason to think that.
Sure.
So, in this case, Kate is transferring how, like, her relationships with people on the island.
Yeah.
So, she got two...
What we talked about was that, like, basically, Sawyer and Jack are, like, her daddies.
Yeah, like, literally Wayne
yeah.
and Sam.
Yeah.
And it's so... I just think it's so on the nose. Because, like, Wayne is this, like, sloppy hillbilly or whatever. Mean. But Sawyer's not just like Wayne.
No, of course he's not.
But she is... she's experiencing that transference phenomenon with him, literally, because she thinks her dead dad's spirit is inside of him. But also, just like, Sawyer is the Wayne stand-in, right? And then you've got Jack,
the buttoned-up professional,
who's a
calm-headed, or cool-headed.
Oh, let me get my medicine organized.
Yeah, authority figure.
Yeah, and meanwhile, Sam is like, oh, what's going on here, right? And he's got his military outfit on. He's like, I'm going to have to call the police. I have to do the right thing, right? And So that is fascinating to me. Really, really good writing on their part. And if they did just come up with this in this season, that part's good. Mm-hmm. It just didn't make me feel any different about Kate.
No. Would it have made her feel differently if she knew that he was her dad? Because she acted like that was, like, the worst part of it was he was her dad. I don't know. Like, he was still a piece of crap. So, I don't know.
So I read a note. I just wanted to add this in, and I'm sure you guys are any kind of losties might have noticed this, but I didn't think about it till I was reading the page. Hurley comments that he did not expect Rose's husband to be white before Jack quickly changes the subject. The producers felt it was important to address that they are an interracial couple and that Hurley was saying what the audience would be thinking. Caldwell agreed with them and thought it would be odd if the issue was not addressed. Anderson also was glad that Hurley brought up the issue and liked that Jack did not pay any attention.
This is 2005. Was interracial couple, was that not cool? Or
well, I think the reason that they're saying it, right? Because I think we're lying to ourselves.
I was surprised.
Yep. Because if Rose is talking about her husband, I know that the first time I watched it, I assumed he was black. And he wasn't.
And Bernard is like super white.
Neon white.
Yeah, I'm not talking about his skin color. I'm talking about who he is as a person.
Well, he is also Forrest Gump's principal from the Forrest Gump.
Your mama sure does care about
your mama sure does care about your schooling, son. You don't say much, do you? Right? Does a really good Alabama accent.
Yes, he does.
Actually, very good. So, yeah, that I just thought was interesting and worth bringing up because we've got a mention of the the producers felt like they needed to drop it in. So maybe at the time it would have been an item of concern. I don't know.
Interesting.
So, got any predictions about the next episode, which is called the 23rd Psalm?
It's going to be either a John Locke or an Mr. Echo episode.
Bing! Bing, 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 bing.
They are the religious figures on the island. So, it's going to be about them. That screen grab is hilarious.
So, yeah, I was just looking because, we're moving to messages in a bottle, and I actually was going to look up the comments under where I posted it, and I just saw it, and I don't know why I didn't get this as a recommendation, but Greg has done a one-off post about our podcast.
Oh, thank you, Greg.
New podcast alert, creating a one-off bonus promo post for Joe and Morgan Green's new amateur podcast, Lost Together, in which Joe introduces Lost to his wife who's not seen it before. We Losties should support each other. If you have time, give this podcast a go. Personally, I'm addicted to the nostalgia of watching Morgan react to these episodes for the first time, as it's a reminder of my first watch all those years ago. Plus, their insight and on-screen chemistry is outstanding, not to mention highly entertaining.
Oh, that's nice.
If you do enjoy it, hint you will, please be sure to comment / like the video. Joe will even read your comment out on the podcast, even when you ask him not to. I did on accident. I don't think I did.
No, it wasn't on accident. He said not to say it, but I'm going to say it anyway.
Oh, I did do that.
Yeah, you did do that.
Sorry.
No, he's not.
I am not. Linking to the latest episode below, they're currently partway through season 2, fast approaching a major milestone in the Lost timeline, but they have episodes started from the pilot.
Yay!
I strongly recommend this podcast too. This is from Josh Coveney. It's so much fun.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Greg.
Long-time listeners.
Yeah.
So
appreciate you.
Let's go and find the actual, because I know there's definitely, can't miss comments underneath. Oh, Kira making an appearance. So we'll start with Greg. Morgan, I know it's difficult to see right now, but take solace in the fact that the way you're watching Lost being guided by Joe, and to a degree your audience, has a major advantage. You get to flesh out every episode rather than stew in a pool of confusion like pretty much the rest of us did. You have no idea how lucky you are. Rose and Bernard's reunion really is absolute perfection, and
so sweet.
It's in part because L. Scott Caldwell and Sam Anderson deliberately did not formally meet each other until they filmed the scene as their characters.
That is really sweet.
That is really great. Actually, I got a chill just now thinking about that.
That's great, like devotion to your character, to the story that you're trying to build. Good for them. That's good acting.
Australian police gun law is similar to the U.S. Do everything to avoid using a gun, which thankfully is rare here as so few people have guns. But if it is used, cops are trained to kill. Joe, you're so right about the writing issues with the character of Kate. I said as much in a previous comment. Sigh. There's a very cool foreshadowing clue in this episode. Blink and you'll miss it, but Locke's crossword clue, Enkidu's friend, and the answer is Gilgamesh, foreshadows the future relationship between him and Mr. Echo.
Is that a Bible thing?
No, the Epic of Gilgamesh is one of the oldest stories on the planet. It's older than the Bible.
I don't think I've heard it.
It's a flood story.
A flood story?
Yeah.
Like a Noah flood?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The flood narrative is common across a lot of religions.
There are lots of things that are common across all religions.
Yeah. Most of our depictions of God look suspiciously like Zeus. It just, that is... I mean, Zeus was depicted that way a long time before we ever... And by the way, why we draw him with a beard? What if he just doesn't like facial hair? Right? Maybe he's a clean-shaven guy. Or doesn't have a head and is just amorphous or whatever. Who knows?
Okay.
Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Well, let's get to Josh Coveney, who says, I can never unsee Bernard as the Fonzie-loving guy who helped deliver Phoebe's babies. Oh my gosh, look at that.
Fonzie met Mork, sorry.
Fonzie met Mork. Yeah, so
Who's Fonzie?
That's Fonzie, like A from Happy Days. It's,
Nope.
Oh, Henry Winkler, who is,
Yeah, I know him. Yeah, he's the coach in Waterboy.
Yeah, he's famously the Fonz from Happy Days, who is like he's got like a leather jacket. He says,
I mean, I've seen that. I've seen that guy. Yeah,
man, making references to older TV shows is wild in my house. A couple of days ago, I was riding around with the kids in the car, and maybe a couple of you might have heard of Fat Albert. It's a little. It's a
cartoon.
It's a cartoon, but it's a little controversial now because it was a Bill Cosby creation.
Yeah.
And Fat Albert used to just randomly go like, hey, 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 right? And I just did that in the car to myself. It wasn't a reference to anything. Just felt like making some noise and said that. And my kids started crying, laughing. And I have no idea why they thought it was so funny. But then, of course, I introduced them to Fat Albert and a couple of characters there. And I feel like I don't know if we've ever actually said this, but there's like a 6.5-year age gap between.
I think we have said
me
that.
And Morgan.
Yes.
So
because we talked about when some episode you were like, I think I was in college. Where were you? And I was like, middle school.
Yeah, I always feel really old when I make these references because I didn't watch Happy Days, but I know who the Fonz is.
They don't call you an elder millennial for nothing, babe.
Do they call me an elder millennial?
Yes, you're an elder millennial.
Neat.
Yeah.
So thank you, Josh. Kira says, I don't think there is a lostie in the world who hasn't played the numbers. Oh, in reference to playing. Yeah. The irony, of course, is that, and if it's a pretty big if, the numbers ever do come up, the prize will be split amongst so many people, it will hardly be worth it.
You know what? I would be fine with that. Honestly, like, even if I got $10, to say like I won the lottery with the lost numbers would be so freaking cool.
And then we should all play the numbers, and if we ever win it, we'll just make
split it.
Well, we'll do a lost convention somewhere, and we can all just meet up and chill or
somewhere
whatever.
that we don't have to fly to.
We'll fly to Australia and then back to LA. Anyway, so that's it for that. Thank you all.
Funny little thing. I think it was around Christmas. We were hanging out with my dad for Christmas, and we were talking about Lost and talking about this podcast, really. Mm-hmm. And my dad said, "Oh, good. I'm getting on a plane to Australia in 2 days."
Yeah, thanks for talking about Lost.
We were like, "Sorry."
Oh, okay, good. Thank you, by the way, guys, for commenting on the actual YouTube video.
Yes.
Very, very helpful, and the views went up. Actually, I didn't tell you this while it was going on, Morgan, but a couple of days ago, Greg was trying to help me out because he thought he noticed that the view count was low on the last 2 videos. But I actually figured it out. I figured out what it was. But Greg was thinking maybe I had not done the thing where it notifies subscribers. But actually there are none of them, almost all of my views and subscribers come specifically from Greg's page. So we cannot thank you enough for that. But I also post it occasionally on just some like generic Lost pages or whatever.
Our podcast?
Yeah.
Oh, God. Okay.
Yeah.
This really is, I don't anticipate ever having more than like 3 people talk to us.
Well, yeah, and I mean we tend to get 42 views, which is so weird.
That is weird.
But we tend to get about 42 views. I was looking at it the other day, and there was a number of them that had 42. But no, listen, that by far Greg's community is the most interactive, and we cannot tell you how much we appreciate that.
Makes this a lot more fun.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I love just having 3 people is way more than when we eat weird stuff on our Facebook timeline and 2 or 3 people are talking to us while we eat.
Like,
oh, look at that! Right,
your dad said something. Like,
read it out.
Yeah.
What would we do if what if we do if this just blew up for some reason? Like we said something crazy and got a ton of views on an episode, and we've been reading every comment. Can you imagine if we got one that had hundreds of comments?
We would have to pick the good ones, but we would always read your guys' comments.
Oh, listen.
You guys are getting a shout out every time.
Every single time, right? Greg's basically my executive producer.
Yeah,
so
honestly. I need to add him on.
I'm so inept. I'm embarrassed at how amateur this is, but we do appreciate
We're just sitting in
that.
our living room with a laptop, baby.
This is like giving, chimpanzees a camera, because I don't do nearly enough editing. I don't care enough about the lighting. We're the talent, right? We really just need to be shot with a camera. I realized.
I thought you meant shot with a gun. I was like, I don't want to be shot.
I don't think we need to be shot with a gun.
No,
It's just a turn of phrase, really.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to go watch the 23rd Psalm. Very much looking forward to your comments.
I'm very much looking forward to whatever episode Greg said you have to record me watching
That's
it.
still a while away. But the build to that moment begins in this season.
I'm about to be angry because I'm about to be wanting to watch this all the time. We don't have time for that.
We got time. I just have to.
We don't have enough time to watch at the clip that I want to watch. Once it starts getting crazy, and I'm gonna be thinking about it at night and stuff, it's gonna be upsetting for me.
I know. We just have to stay dedicated.
I'm here for it. I'm here for the long haul.
All right. Well, that's it for us, and we will see you in another life.
Brother.